I had to record now. Yo,
Mic check 1, 2.
episode 13. I'm just going right into it. We just watched The Running Man. The Running Man, directed by Edgar Wright. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to the show. This is episode 13. Grab Some Popcorn podcast. Your hosts, Jared and Emmanuel, are here. We just watched The Running Man starring Glen Powell, based on the Stephen King book. I don't know if you know, Emmanuel, but Stephen King is killing it this year. I mean, we saw that
The
Long
long walk.
Walk movie.
Yeah.
That was his. And he's got this movie. He's got the It series going on right now. I don't know. You know what It is, right?
Yeah, I know it.
Yo, you know what's crazy? This movie, they went to the town that it is from. I don't know if you peeped it, but remember when he goes to the first town when he's on the run, that dude gave him a note. It said Derry, Maine. Derry, that's the town.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that.
Because they're both Stephen King books. But this movie is set in the future, so it's like it's long after it. It is like in the early 1900s up until like maybe the 60s or 70s or around there. But yeah, man, a little fun fact right there. I don't know if anyone knew that. But all right, so we watched Running Man. It's got a good cast starring Glen Powell, Michael Cera's in there, Coleman Domingo, and a bunch of other people too, but those are the most notable to me. And this movie, I mean, I'm just going to get right into it. This movie was cool. I honestly thought that there was going to be a lot more action. I don't know why I thought that. I didn't really watch the trailer, but I thought that this was going to be like Glen Powell's breakout action movie. And I thought he was going to be doing like a lot of fighting.
And I thought that too.
A lot of killing. And I thought he was just going to be like, you know, trying to stay alive, but it was more like on some cat and mouse, hide and seek survival. And I mean, it still wasn't bad. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy the movie. It starts out really good. You know, the story, he's broke and he doesn't have enough money for his daughter. I think, you know, when they do movies like this, they got to get the casting believable. I mean, Glen Powell is ripped. You're telling me that this ripped man is poor? Like, shouldn't he be skinnier or something? I don't know. Like, what were they? I don't even see him eat a real meal the whole movie. So it's just like,
I saw him with some Funyuns and a can of Coke. Or it's not just that like,
yeah, how is this dude ripped? Like, come on. At least make it believable. But either way, yeah, he's poor, and I think his girlfriend is like trying to become a stripper or something like that.
I think he goes into the game because his girl wants to become a stripper in order to get health care for their kid. And she was about to become a stripper, and he was like, "No, don't do that. I'm gonna go and do this." And so I think that's what happened there at the beginning.
So to stop her stripper aspirations, he puts his life on the line.
Yep.
And joins the running game, or the Running Man game, where he basically has to survive for 30 days. And, you know, each day he survives, he gets money, and he also gets some bonuses if he does some side mission type stuff. But that's basically the premise of the movie. And it starts out, well, they build the world up a little bit too quickly for me. Like, I feel like they just kind of thrust him into that really quick. I mean, he had like a little montage training, but a lot of it happened real fast for me. And then when he starts to get like intercepted and the hunters start getting on to him, there's just a lot more of him running rather than like actually fighting back. You know, like he doesn't really come back with fighting until towards the end. But I mean, the story is cool. I feel like the acting, it was just like regular, nothing too like memorable. This is an action movie, so you're not really looking for the acting unless you have like a A-list actor, which Glen Powell is, but I just don't think an action role is good for him. I don't know. What did you think, Emmanuel?
I think I don't think this was an action role. I mean, he was definitely like it's like see, there's different people do I think do action differently. Like when you say, for instance, you've got Keanu Reeves. This is like someone who like focuses on action. Like if you ever seen John Wick or Matrix, I'm not saying those movies don't have any story, but if you look at a movie like John Wick, he tells a story by action. You know what I mean? Like the action scenes tell the story. Like it's just strictly, there's something happening every 5 minutes. This movie, this movie stretched on for well over 2 hours. And I think in the first hour, he didn't even kill one person. Like it was, you know what I mean? You can't really say action movie. This is like an action movie, a Glen Powell action movie. You see what I'm saying? You can't say action movie based on the entire pool of action movies that I've ever seen. He does things his own way. So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to compare his act.
He's not gonna get in there and be like, yeah, like you said, like a John Wick,
Right. He's not going to be just take this.
Jason Statham, or the dude that plays Nobody, that dude. You're not gonna get in there and be.
He doesn't come in as a soldier or as a mercenary or an assassin. He came in as a person on a game show, basically. Like you have to realize he's like a game show guy, not like a trained. You know what I mean? When Jason Statham comes in, he comes in like as a Green Beret or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
ex-CIA. Yeah, they come in as like military. So this is a little bit different.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Um, Emotionally, the movie, I mean, I guess you feel bad for the guy because he's poor. And, it tried to get a little message off. I see like, oh, you guys are treating us bad and, you're rich and you're living comfortable and we're poor and you got us on this game show to try to like survive. I think it's kind of wild that innocent people die in the game show too. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I guess the thing is like these people have to disguise themselves and basically live on the run for 30 days. And some people, stick to secrecy and some people are loud and boisterous. They don't care. They just waiting to get caught. But either way, like it's kind of wild to me that they just don't have any regard for like the innocent civilians who come into contact with these people and are basically caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, it's definitely like the game, quote unquote, the game. It's not a game show. Like this is obviously, people are dying. The people are like, it's you're getting there's like mercenaries and there's people, like corrupt like military organizations. Like it's like it's not a safe game. It's not a game show. Like
it almost reminds me of that movie. What's the one where they get to kill people for like a day, and all the rich people hide? The Purge. It's almost kind of like that, but they're not purging like a city.
It's like living in the Purge for 30 days.
Yeah, basically, like you don't even know like what could happen to you if you just in the vicinity of these people who are being hunted. Unique wise, I mean, nothing too much unique. This movie was based on a book, so there's plenty of movies like that. I don't think this movie brought anything unique. It wasn't bad though. I don't think it's bad sometimes if a movie doesn't do anything unique. Sometimes people just want to make fun projects. In this case, this movie was, based off a book. And like I said, Stephen King, he's been killing it this year. He's everywhere. So, they're bringing a lot of his material back, and rightfully so, because he has a lot of good books and, they deserve to be made into movies for sure. I love what they're doing with the whole It thing, the series and the movies. Did you think that this movie brought anything unique?
Unique? I mean, I would say the concept is unique. Like it got points for uniqueness because usually, if anyone was to make an action movie, it'd probably be about a mission, to get some sort of item or some data, or say it would be like a military mission. The I think the whole concept of like a game show is you get points for uniqueness for me, you know what I mean? Like definitely not like I've seen it done before, but not as much as some other stuff.
Yeah. My issues with this movie, it was just too long. I don't understand what took so long to get to the end. They dragged it out for sure. I mean, even when we were watching it and he, kills the guy, he kills both of the, two bad guys at the end. It's just like, what took you so long? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that is based off a book, so they want to add certain scenes and have certain dialogue that comes from the book, so it'll connect with the audience, and so they'll be like, "Oh, I remember this," or if they leave something out, then people might be upset. So I think it had a lot more to do with that. If this movie wasn't based on the book, this movie easily could have been an hour and a half. So for sure, it was definitely too long for me. What about for you?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, no, I didn't see that there was completely and totally unnecessary things. Like the things that were in there, they did add to the story. And, it's just some, like, for example, in a movie, you know how someone, there's a huge, like, hand-to-hand combat scene and someone pulls out a gun and then they hold it to the guy's forehead and they start talking for 5 minutes. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like there's like some sort of cinematic, like, you should not have tried to kill my family type of
At the end, the countdown. I mean, I guess the end was the last one was a little cinematic because it ended right there. Like the movie ended when he pulled the trigger. So that one was kind of cool.
That one, yeah, but there were some scenes where they were like literally like they're like talking instead of like, but in a real situation, you probably like if you don't shoot the guy, at least you'd like smack him real good on the head so he blacks out, right? That's what these guys they think like they think those big long cinematic speeches as you're trying to like like subdue a guy. No, in a real movie, in a real situation, you'd probably just smack the guy over the head so he blacks out and then, continue. If you didn't want to kill him, that's what you do. So I enjoy the movies where it's a little bit more realistic, but I know that's a whole style, just do the whole cinematic, like, speech before you kill someone. I'm just not a fan of it.
Rightfully so. Well, overall, I mean, I give this movie a 5 out of 10. It was, pretty right in the middle for me. Like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But there weren't enough standout things in this movie for me to like elevate the score. It was just like your average action movie, even though there wasn't a lot of action. It was fast paced. I'll say it was a fast paced adventurous thriller. Call it that, an adventurous thriller movie. You had an adventure. There were some thrills.
It was like a thriller action more than it was an action thriller, I think. Thriller action. If the thrills came first.
It was a diet action. It was a diet thriller, Coke Zero action movie, But I do recommend it though, because I feel like people would still like this movie. This is a movie like the average movie goer would like. So I do recommend it. Go see it, especially if you're a fan of Stephen King or Glen Powell. But yeah, 5 out of 10 for me. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I think I liked it. To my taste, I think it could have been a little bit shorter, but I know that whoever wrote it and directed it, that they had to put in all those little details. Because then, if I was making a movie, I'd want those little details in there. So I know they were just putting in the details they wanted. So I'm not gonna dock it for that. It was a good movie. I'd watch it again. It was entertaining. I don't know if I would give it an A, but yeah, I would give it. I'm not gonna give it like a numerical score, but I'll give this movie a solid B. Not a B minus, but a B. So like somewhere in the 83 to 87 range for me.
And speaking of, because now that I have opened my notes up, I didn't have my notes open, but I just opened them up. Speaking of the genre of the movie, so the director of this movie, I think his name, his last name's Wright, because I'm looking at it, but Edgar Wright. Okay, I'm sorry. Edgar Wright. He describes this movie as a road movie, which is very different than a straight action thriller. Like, how do you feel about being described as a road movie? And does it change the tone of the movie in a good way?
You say a road movie?
That's what the director says. He says it's not an action thriller, it's a road movie.
So I guess they mean someone who has to keep moving, keep like,
Yeah,
so it's like a on the run type of movie, like but keep moving.
that's why I use the word adventure. He says road, I say adventure. It was like an adventure movie to me.
A road movie. I mean, that doesn't change my score or my thoughts. It's just that, yeah, I knew from the beginning that it wasn't an action movie. Like, it wasn't an action movie. It was something else. We'd established that. We knew that before we started talking about it. So it doesn't change anything.
I didn't even know that this movie, I mean, I know it was based on a book, but it's a remake. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger did the last one, and he gave his blessing for the movie. Do you think that's important for like the legacy of the film?
Oh yeah, I think it's totally important to, if the movie's been made before and you're just doing a remake, it's a great thing to have the actor who did it before you to, definitely not be mad at you for one. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want the guy who did it at first to start criticizing your performance or something. So to have that
Now that I know Arnold they should have had a cameo. They could have had an Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo. Like, he could have been one of the hunters. That would have turned this movie up.
Yeah,
it would have turned it up after for me though, because I'm just now finding that out. But it's still, I would have been like, oh, like, hey, the movie might have got a 6 instead of a 5 if they threw an Arnold cameo in there, for sure. But wow. Well, that's going to be the episode for today, y'all. We appreciate everyone listening, following the Instagram, leaving comments. I don't know if anyone's seen, but we do have an interview up with movie director Daniel Mascari for his film Stationed at Home. If you haven't seen that, definitely scroll down on YouTube. Be sure to check that out. We got a lot more coming for y'all in the future, so thanks for sticking out with us, and we'll see you next week.
later, Gator.